but it has completely changed the math and is now used in almost every sector of society.
Even the best and brightest among us, we just don't have enough compute power inside of our heads.
Amy Webb is a professor at NYU and founder of the Future Today Institute.
As AI progresses, the great promise is that these machines, alongside of us, are able to think and imagine and see things in ways that we never have before. Which means that maybe we have some kind of new, weird, seemingly implausible solution to climate change. Maybe we have some radically different approach to dealing with incurable cancers. The real practical and wonderful promise is that machines help us be more creative. And using that creativity, we get to terrific solutions.
Solutions that could come unexpectedly to urgent problems.
It's going to change the face of breast cancer. Right now, 40,000 women in the U.S. alone die from breast cancer every single year.
Dr. Connie Lehman is head of the Breast Imaging Center at Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston.
We've become so complacent about it, we almost don't think it can really be changed. We somehow think we should put all of our energy into chemotherapies to save women with metastatic breast cancer, and yet, when we find it early, we cure it, and we cure it without having the ravages to the body when we diagnose it late. This shows a small spot from one year to the next, and then to the diagnosis of the small cancer here.
This is what happened when a woman who had been diagnosed with breast cancer started to ask questions about why it couldn't have been diagnosed earlier.
Really brings a lot of anxiety, and asking the questions, am I going to survive? What's going to happen to my son? And I started asking other questions.
She was used to asking questions. At MIT's Artificial Intelligence Lab, Professor Regina Barzilay uses deep learning to teach the computer to understand language, as well as read text and data.
I was really surprised at the very basic question that I asked my physicians, which were really excellent physicians here at MGH. They couldn't give me answers that I was looking for.
She was convinced that if you analyze enough data, from mammograms to diagnostic notes, the computer could predict early-stage conditions.
If we fast forward from 2012 to 13 to 2014, we then see when Regina was diagnosed because of this spot on her mammogram. Is it possible with more elegant computer applications that we might have identified this spot the year before, or even back here?
So those are standard prediction problems in machine learning. There is nothing special about them. And to my big surprise, none of the technologies that we are developing at MIT, even in the most simple form, doesn't penetrate the hospital.
Regina and Connie began the slow process of getting access to thousands of mammograms and records from MGH's breast imaging program.
And I like white people, and I start making demands as soon as I get rich.
All of the patients we had at MGH during a period of time who had had breast surgery for a certain type of high-risk lesion. And we found that most of them didn't really need the surgery. They didn't have cancer, but about 10% did have cancer. With Regina's techniques in deep learning and machine learning, we were able to predict the women that truly needed the surgery and separate out those that really could avoid the unnecessary surgery.
I never deny my kids and shit.
What machine can do, it can take hundreds of thousands of images where the outcome is known and learn
about my children
based
first and
on
everybody
how,
else is later.
Pixels are distributed. What are the very unique patterns that correlate highly with future occurrence of the disease? So instead of using human capacity to kind of recognize pattern, formalize pattern, which is inherently limited by our cognitive capacity and how much we can see and remember, we're providing machine with a lot of data and make it Glenn, this prediction.
You're gonna start crying now.
So we are using technology not only to be better at assessing the breast density, but to get more to the point of what we're trying to predict. Does this woman have a cancer now? And will she develop a cancer in 5 years? And that's again where the artificial intelligence, machine and deep learning can really help us and our patients.
In the age of AI, the algorithms are transporting us into a universe of vast potential and transforming almost every aspect of human endeavor and experience. Andrew McAfee is a research scientist at MIT who co-authored The Second Machine Age.
The great compliment that a songwriter gives another one is, gosh, I wish I'd written that one. The great compliment a geek gives another one is, wow, I wish I had drawn that graph. So I wish I had drawn this graph.
The graph uses a formula to show human development and growth since 2000 BCE.
The state of human civilization is not very advanced, and it's not getting better very quickly at all. And this is true for thousands and thousands of years. When we formed empires and empires got overturned, when we tried democracy, when we invented zero and mathematics and fundamental discoveries about the universe, big deal. The numbers don't change very much. What's weird is that the numbers change essentially in the blink of an eye at one point in time, and it goes from really horizontal, unchanging, uninteresting, to holy Toledo, crazy vertical.
Going to be against most of the people on the
And then the question is,
people that
what on
support
earth
them.
happened to cause that change? And the answer is the Industrial
stands
Revolution.
forever.
There were other things that happened, but really what fundamentally happened is we
on.
overcame the limitations of our muscle
I
power.
put my life in
Something
danger for not fucking
equally
with men.
interesting is happening right now.
The main
We are
problem
overcoming
is
the
I won't have sex
limitations
with
of
men.
our minds. We're not getting rid of them, we're not making them unnecessary,
business, that's
but
my right.
holy cow, can we leverage them and amplify them now?
Or that I
I
won't
would be
commit
a
a
huge
sexual
pessimist not to
perverted
find that
crime. I'm not
profoundly
gonna do
good
that.
news.
I'm not a pervert.
I really do think the world has entered a new era. Artificial intelligence holds so much promise, but it's going to reshape every aspect of the economy, so many aspects of our lives, because AI is a little bit like electricity. Everybody's going to use it. Every company is going to be incorporating AI, integrating it into what they do. Governments are going to be using it. Nonprofit organizations are going to be using it. It's going to create all kinds of benefits in ways large and small, and challenges for us as well.
This is just temporary
The
shit.
challenges, the benefits. The autonomous truck represents both as it maneuvers into the marketplace. The engineers are confident that, in spite of questions about when this will happen, they can get it working safely sooner than most people realize.
I think that you will see
No
the
man goes to
first
the white man, too.
vehicles operating with no one
Trying to
inside
teach
them
you a
moving
lesson. He
freight
tells everybody
in the
that.
next few
We're
years.
trying to tell them
And then
everything,
you're
you
going
don't
to
say
see
no
that
to us.
expanding to more freight,
Okay.
more geographies,
No,
more weather
white man can't suck my
over
dick.
time as that
Neither
capability
can your
builds up.
children.
We're talking like less than half a decade.
He already has a Fortune 500 company as a client, shipping appliances across the Southwest. He says the sales pitch is straightforward.
They spend hundreds of millions of
Not gonna
dollars a
treat me
year
like you treat Michael
shipping
Jackson
parts
either,
around
but
the
I'm super
country.
rich.
We can bring that
I'm not
cost in
turning
half.
white, I'm not changing my
And
skin
they're
color,
really
none of that
excited to
shit.
be able to start working with us,
Love my black
both
skin.
because of the potential savings from deploying self-driving, and also because
Lot of
of
white
all the
women love my
operational
black skin,
efficiencies
too.
that they see. The biggest one being able to operate 24 hours a day. So right now, human drivers
I
are
have a lot of
limited to
ex-white
11 hours by
girlfriends too.
federal
I want them to treat the
law,
exact same thing as my black
and
girlfriend.
a driverless truck obviously wouldn't have that limitation.
The idea of a driverless truck comes up often in discussions about artificial intelligence. Steve Vaselli is a sociologist who drove a truck while researching his book, The Big Rig, about the industry.
This is one of the most remarkable stories in U.S. labor history, I think, is the decline of unionized trucking.
But we do have legal weapons.
The industry was deregulated in 1980, and at that time, truck drivers were earning the equivalent of over $100,000 in today's dollars. And today, the typical truck driver will earn a little over $40,000 a year.
Running the extortion scheme on the wrong person.
And I think it's an important part of the automation story, right? Why are they so afraid of automation? Because we've had 4 decades of rising inequality in wages. If anybody is going to take it on the chin from automation in the trucking industry, the first in line is going to be the driver, without a doubt.
For his research, Vasselli tracked down truckers and their families like Sean and Hope Cumby of Beaverton, Michigan.
Hey, Hope. It's Steve Vasselli.
Hi, Steve. Nice to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Peace.
And their son Charlie.
Quest. Peace to all my black people out there, you know what I mean? Jelly, smelly, jelly, my people, my black brothers that know me. Quest money, you know what I mean? I ain't talking about no new people, all old folks. Peace to all my people up in the jails and shit like that, you know what I mean?
We made
all my old friends, you still my friends, no good?
That sounds great, right? That's like good money. We paid $100,000 in fuel. Okay, so right there, now I made $50,000, but I didn't really.
Don't worry about these strangers. I don't know none of them.
Change every month, so it's $300 a month. You still have to do all the maintenance.
Don't want to either. The government gonna have all their names in a minute.
$13,000. Right? I know. I mean, I choke up a little just thinking about it because it was, and it was $13,000, and we were off work for 2 weeks. So by the end of the year, with that $150,000, by the end of the year, we made about $22,000.
At a truck stop in Tennessee, Sean has been sidelined waiting for a new part. The garage owner is letting him stay in the trunk.
Why it ain't right this time? Ain't that right, Grandma Lucille? May my father rest in peace in heaven.
It's going.
Was my grandmother that
Hi, Chunky Butt.
Colleen Smith killed for her money too. She's trying to kill me for my money too, and I'm not going to let her happen.
Blood, 3rd generation driver. And my granddaddy told me a long time ago, when I was probably 11, 12 years old, probably, he said, the world meets nobody halfway. Nobody. He said, if you want it, you have to.
Yeah, I want to say peace to all my peoples, you know what I mean? That's what I want to say peace to. Yeah, man, let me get rid of this real quick. There we go. Yeah, that's how that goes. Let me see something here. Yeah, tighten that up real quick. Yeah, there we go. I was a stranger speaking. I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. You know what I mean? He talking about nuclear war and stopping nuclear war and COVID-19 and all that other shit. That's what we talking about. You know what I mean? It's 2020. We'll shut this out for 15 minutes flat. That's like another minute. COVID-19 is the most important thing that's going on right now. It was started by a Caucasian male and a homosexual male that I turned down at a courthouse on Court Street. They're in there right now, or on there right now. They try to kill black people because I said no to them. They was targeting Philadelphia, but it backfired and started targeting white people. You understand what I'm trying to say? So they're genociding themselves, to be honest with you. That's exactly what's going on. They're too worried about my dick than to stop that shit. Something's wrong with them because they're not getting my dick. You know what I mean? That's basically it. They lie and say I'm schizophrenic in order for a homosexual to hurt me. Then they switch my diagnosis back to normal. We're not doing that no more. In fact, yeah, John Lee, I think he's schizophrenic and shit. I think he's in Little Boys. Remember, I have no case. You can ask the sheriff's department. I'm never going to have a sexual abuse case or child case. That goes around the world, around the country. That's basically it. I'm not doing the time for somebody else's crime, especially Cheryl Dabney. She needs to do time for her own baby. My mom admits who killed that baby. She knows Cheryl Dabney did it. You know what I mean? She was trying to call the police too and tell her Jonathan had nothing to do with that baby's death. You know what I mean? That's basically it. And I'm Jonathan. So that's how that goes.